Well, as often you ask, what did the see in the video show? We found some things that on a day of frustration that we can find positives to build on and to work towards improving. Third down was just a disaster for us in both sides of the ball, and that's really was the story of the day, because we ran the ball all right on offense and ran the ball and stopped the run on defense well, and so when it came down to it, we had to get off the field, and we didn't do it. So that's it just spells the whole issue of what happened in the second half too. We didn't make first down. They moved the ball. We didn't make first down. They moved the ball again, and that was the game started to change right there. So it's really disappointed that we didn't come back in the second half and play better. I thought we were in okay shape at the end of the first half for just getting started, and I wanted to build on that in third quarter, and we weren't able to get that done. So it's a very difficult day to take for the opener, and everybody's expectations, nobody's were higher than ours, but everybody's expectations dashed a bit to get this thing started.
You mentioned the run defense. That was obviously a big emphasis this offseason. Is that, despite a loss, something you can kind of take going forward and build off of? What you guys
because we've seen some consistency in the preseason as well as carrying over here, and with big emphasis to try and shore that up. That was a real strength in the game.
How are your two starting tackles doing? Is there any more?
Well, I don't have much for you to update. We're going to go day to day once we get back Wednesday and see where we are. Abe came walking in today in the office, and he was walking all right and all that, so we'll hold a good thought. Charles making it around, but it's going to take a little bit before we know.
How much, I guess, do you pin the offensive struggles in the second half on not having those guys?
No, they didn't. That didn't really even show up as an issue until late. When they really started to crank it after us. Stone held up pretty well. Jake got his licks in there, and they did okay. There's a couple rushes right at the end of the game that we got rolled back a little bit.
Is it just a sore knee for Abe? It's just that simple?
Yeah. It's a patellar area soreness. But he's had all of the tests, and we've seen all the stuff, and there's nothing to do for it right now. It's just he's got a sore knee.
You said on the radio you expect Witherspoon to practice fully this week with the intent to play Sunday?
Yes, that's the way we're approaching it. We'll see if that works out. We got to get through the days, but he's anxious to go. He practiced really hard last week. If you watched him, you would have thought he could play. We just wanted to make sure that we got through a whole nother week of preparation to secure it, and so that's where we are.
Even when you went back and watched it, what stood out about your third down defense?
We needed to, as always, it works together, with the rush and the coverage, and we didn't, we weren't able to hold the coverage up with the rush that we had, and he held the football a bit and made some great throws and some really good catches, and they converted with guys hanging on him, like a really good quarterback does. We needed to make him move, and we didn't make him move enough. You can do it by covering guys. He's got to hold the football and he moves around, or you can get the quick rush on him. That we didn't get either one of those successfully. So they did a really nice job against us. It was nothing new. It was just the stuff that they do. But it was what was old was that Matthew Stafford could still do it. And he did a great job at it.
Trey Brown, what'd you think of his day?
He had a couple plays, that he'd like to get back. Missed a tackle in a critical situation. That was really not a very difficult play. Just kind of got in an awkward situation. He got bumped on the big man-to-man corner route that they caught. He bumped into our guy. So that's something we have. That's kind of self-inflicted. We need to work together to get that so it doesn't happen. But other than that, he was in there battling.
What was your assessment, I guess, of Geno Smith's day?
We weren't able to take advantage of some of the things we've been doing. The things that we've been counting on didn't come through. We went deep a few times and didn't give our guys a chance. And then the third down, troubles. It comes down to we got to throw and catch it. So he's got to work with his guys, and he was solid about the competing through the day. It was clear throughout what was going on, the adjustments that we were making as the game went on, as always. He was competing and battling, but it didn't turn out to be a productive day for us. We didn't throw the ball very many yards, didn't hit the big plays that we would like to have had a shot at. We missed on the trick play. He just couldn't quite get the ball off. It's a play we've been looking forward to all camp and all that. But So we missed some opportunities down the field, and then come back on the third down. There's a couple misses on third down. But it wasn't all his misses at all. You know, it was just guys working together and trying to convert. Didn't handle a slant route, and there was a couple things that we could have come through for him and helped him out.
Shane Waldron last week told us that he changed some practice early in the training camp to do third down work specifically. And is
We've
that-
worked a long time on this. Yeah, that's one of the reasons we're really disappointed, Greg, is we've spent a lot of time, a lot of competitive time with real focus on it, and unfortunately, it came out that we didn't get the results that we were hoping for. It's been an area of focus for us, and so it continues to be. It got accentuated again after this thing.
What were the changes you made, or what have you emphasized on third down that?
More competitive situations, moving the football to try to create, what it feels like to go from first, second down, and now you're in a third down situation, not just practicing like 8 or 10 third downs in a row, really trying to make it situational. So we would have to, help the players have to make the transition to get the third down, just stuff like that, some creative ideas to try to just make it more realistic.
You mentioned special teams on the radio this morning. Is that an area, just given the newness each year with all the young guys, that you're maybe always uncertain going into a year what it's going to look like?
Yeah, this year in particular it is. We've got some new core guys to go at it. Man, Mikey kicked the ball like crazy, man. He kicked it almost 60 yards a punt. So he did his part. Unfortunately, we knocked one off the post on the field goal. But the block, the return in the kickoff return game and the punt return game, DJ had a really good game for us as well. So, we covered them inside the 25. They fair caught one. We got to see what a fair catch is like in the NFL on a kickoff. And then we had a really good coverage on a couple of punt returns. So,
What did you see, I guess, as the most significant issue with the pass rush and kind of getting to get more of that done?
Yeah, we're disappointed that we didn't get more activity from the guys on the edge. We got to get where we cause the problems, and we have to create the problems with our calls as well. And we did a lot of different things in the rush, different types of pressures, but we need to do more probably to get it going. Particularly here's a really good quarterback coming up, very similar in style, very similar in system, and you got to make Jared Goff move also. So they're very. Very similar, and so we have to do a good job finding our ways. But mostly, it's just we'd love to see some more edge work. Where the guys get on the corners of guys and get in the backfield.
What do you think of Darrell Taylor's day? He missed a lot of time for you in camp. And
Yeah, well, I don't. We didn't have the highest of expectations for him to be at his best. He has not practiced enough to be really at his best, but he's getting there. And he had, he got a good number of plays to get started. It's kind of we're returning him to action, kind of. This will be a really good week for him. I think he came out in good shape and feels okay about it, and should be able to work really diligently to get back to full flow. But it was a good start for him, but he didn't wasn't able to make anything happen. But so that's kind of how you measure the rushers,
You still plan on rotating Mike and Trey like that going forward?
We'll see. We'll see what happens here with Spoon coming back and see how it all fits together. I don't have that answer for you yet.
Do you expect that Jamal will be able to get back out at practice with you this week?
Yes. Yeah, he should be on the practice field this week, taking snaps. First time.
Full scrimmage or full practice?
Let's take it one day at a time. He's going to have a limited amount of plays as he gets back and re-enters, but he'll get in individual work and start getting some of the basic stuff just to get him back out there.
The amount that Jordan played yesterday, do you feel like that's a good amount for him coming back?
It worked out. I thought he played really well. I liked his improvement in the pass game, as well as his consistency on his fits. He played. I thought he played one of his better games, and to come out the first time out and do that, it's really encouraging. He was fast and physical, and he looked good. So I think he had 57 or something like that. Was that what we counted? What, 50-something, yeah, and we'll see what happens with that. There's a few long drives that we got a chance to rest him. He was in and out a little bit in the different packages, so we'll continue to do that. I'm not making any call on it right now, but he looks like he can play a full football game.
He showed that he can call the defense last year for you and everything, but is there something for him with just being able to play free and kind of not having that responsibility on his shoulders this year?
I think I think it's something he can benefit from, and particularly with the guy that he trusts so much in Bobby, that to make the calls and direct the traffic out there, does give him a chance to be a little more freelance, a little more he has a little more time to see what's going on, and evaluate and assess what's happening as the formations line up and stuff like that. So, it's not something he can't handle, like you said, but I think he probably enjoys it. I've not asked him that though, so you might want to ask him.
How did Bobby look when he went back and looked at it? I mean, obviously the tackle numbers were huge.
Say it again.
Just
In
when you went back
general?
and looked at it, how did it look?
He played a really good football game. Yeah, he did a great job. He was all over the place, really active, physical with his tackles, controlled the show. He did a lot of movement stuff up front that he had to control. He did a great job with all of that. Couple coverage opportunities that he could have got a little tighter on, but other than that, he did a nice job. Had a real nice pass rush one time, one of the better rushes we had. He's back, and he's really frustrated about not getting this win for all the obvious reasons, but he'll bounce right back with us.
Is 81 snaps sustainable for him?
I don't know if it is for anybody, I think it's a big challenge. If anybody could ever do it, he could, but that's not how we would like it to be. We'd like to get it in the 50s.
What did you think of Kobe Bryant's day?
Kobe was pretty solid. Did okay job in all of his fits. He had a lot of things that he did that were different in this game. Playing on two different positions. Did a nice job in general. So I'm encouraged. Kobe has really taken a step forward. Matter of fact, I talked to him. I think it was before the game, just talking about how much clearer the game is to him now compared to what it was last year and the blur that it was. He feels really more confident and more aggressive and all that, which is a natural thing, but he has benefited from that. So, he's going to continue to play as a good ball player and makes a lot of things happen. So,
With your scheme and the outside linebackers you have, should you not, in general, have to blitz as much to create pressure?
That really, Greg, that depends on the staff and the coaching scheme and the philosophy and all that stuff. I mean, there's no set way. You get to do it any way you want to. It just depends. If four-man rush is hitting it, then we don't have to pressure. That's a standard that kind of goes around the league. But we like getting after it, and we like to mix it up. We just want to be more effective with it.
You guys are bringing in left offensive tackle Jason Peters. Can you confirm that?
He's not here yet, so I don't know that until he gets here. I don't even know. I don't know what my standards are there, but we have talked to him. I know that.
Is that a sign that Charles's toe is bad?
Well, both tackles left the game, so we're a little concerned.
You mentioned the conversation you had with DK, and you also mentioned that it's been an ongoing thing for a few years. How do you get that message to stick this time with him?
Well, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see on that one. He was great talking about the game and all that stuff. We had a great conversation and very serious and man to man down to it. And he wants to be great and he wants to do everything he can to be great. And so we'll figure it out.
Was anything in the secondary yesterday part of maybe some growing pains of Julian and Quandre having their first live action episode?
Julian he has a lot of different situations that happens the way we're playing him, so he has a lot of things that he has to do in coverage. And he got, he had tight ends, he had receivers, he had the back, he had a little bit of everything, and he has to do all that stuff. So he's got a little bit more than Q Diggs. So those guys are working it out and talking through it, making all the decisions and all. I thought Julian did a nice job, but they did get him, on a play and on a really well executed tight end play. The quarterback threw a great ball too. So, but they're doing well together. I like the way that they're communicating. It gives us a lot of stability going forward. But it was just their first game with a bunch of plays. So it makes a big difference as we gain some more experience together. We'll get better.
Pete, Stone played a couple games for you last year. Obviously, snap filling for Charles yesterday. What have you seen from him in that role when you've had to ask him to play?
He's a good active player. He understands the system. He knows the principles really well. He's clear about it. You really can count on him, trust him that he gets it and he knows what's going on. He's been really consistent with his effort always. Big, long kid, so he's got a lot of assets, that help him. He did a pretty good job yesterday in jumping in, so we feel pretty good about him. If he has to go again, that he can fill in.
Different topic here. You guys and Detroit actually have spent the most first and second round picks on running backs over the last, I think, since 2018. Obviously, there's some people who say, that's too early to take a running back. You guys, other teams feel like that position is still worthy?
I wish they hadn't, because they got a really good player with their pick. Gibbs is a great player. I wish he would have changed his mind about that. But why do you think we do that?
Yeah, why do you feel like that running back is still worthy of that?
Well, because they're kind of in the middle of the game, you know, and if you want to run the football, it's great to have guys you can really count on that can make things happen and make your line better and make your whole team better. We just really value it. Johnny and I have been like that for forever.
Sharp day yesterday, you had him at a lane, just pulling out wide. Is that a part of his game? You didn't see as much of it yesterday, and usually it is past.
Really, Greg, he is such a well-versed player. I mean, he gets it, you know, and he understands the game well enough that you can move him around, even as a pup, you know, and he can go out there and run the routes, and he can, you know, make the adjustments, and he catches the ball really well. So we have no restrictions on what we can do with him, and so we got a nice little taste of it, you know, yesterday, and he'll get more as we go.
I know Tyler cleared protocol yesterday, but was he fine?
Yes, he was okay.
How about Boye?
He's not on the list right now, so he's okay, I think. That was last night.